what we're going to talk about today is my 2022 Royal Enfield Himalayan. I absolutely love this bike, and I think many of you all will as well. If you like ADV riding, you want to experience with a little bit of off-road, maybe you're riding around the city, or you just want to take some back roads, and again, at the core, experience and get used to some off-roading before you dive into a bigger bike. Also, for a beginner, I think this is a absolutely phenomenal beginner bike, intermediate or advanced. But at the end of this video, you're really going to be scratching your head like, wait, what the heck? So number one, I just want to show you the Royal Enfield Himalayan. There's a lot of things you all probably know, and we're going to talk about some of those questions and concerns. But number one, looking over the bike. Now, I want to do a mod video. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time for that, but you can see I have a significant amount of mods on it, from cosmetics to lights up front, hand guards, cases, these rear or these side jerry cans, which you can use for water or gas or whatever. But again, just getting a once over of the bike. It has this really cool, rustic, just classic vibe to it, yet adventure, like you're gonna go conquer the trails no matter what, you know what I mean? It is such a cool bike. I mean, it just looks great. Looking at it straight on right here, looking at it from the side, it looks like you're going to go, you know, cross country or Indiana Jonesing or something. And then even popping up to the front of the bike or the top of the bike here, you can see there is a decent amount of tech. Let me go on and spin the key here. You can see you have your tach, you got your miles per hour over here. You actually got a gear shift indicator, your mileage, which you can cycle through, fuel, compass, which is hit or miss here and there. And this little trip, which I started in 2022, I believe, where you can actually sync up there and get your directions. But it has everything you really need right on it. Now, one of the best things about the Royal Enfield Himalayan right here is the simplicity to handle this bike. Hopefully you guys can still hear me being over there. I wanted to give you the whole shot of the bike and then my feet. And talking about that, you can see my legs. Now I'm right at 6 feet, and you can see I got a little arch in my leg as well, right at my knee. Not too much, not too little. And what that does is it gives you that confidence on the road, on off-road especially. You get in a sticky situation, little pickle, you can walk the bike out of it rather than being too tall like we saw in the Africa Twin. You're just sitting there and it's really confidence inspiring. You feel like you can really handle the bike. Now, you're probably saying, hey man, the Royal Enfield Himalayan is a heavy bike. And yeah, it is. But the weight is all down low, kind of like we saw in the NC750X or something like that, rather than the weight being up top like on the Africa Twin. So with that weight being low, we have two benefits right there. Again, being off-road, you're locked in, you're planted, it's really sitting there, you're not dancing around too much. Also on-road, you're going higher speeds, it's a windy day. It's not pushing the bike all over the place like we saw in a 300L. It's really planted in any situation, and again, with that low weight, which you'd be able to walk it out of a tight situation or something like that, this bike is always planted. And you don't really feel that weight. It's not an intimidating weight. It's down low. If anything, it's a beneficial weight. So right there are two things that I stated in the beginning about this bike being great for just a beginner motorcycle rider in general, or a beginner off-roader, and you want to just have a little more confidence off-road. That weight is beneficial, right? Like I stated in the Africa Twin video, it's nice because it's planted. You get that here rather than something, say, like the 300L, which I'm going to touch on. But also that low seat height. Again, being able to walk the bike out of any situation, it is so confidence inspiring in, again, any situation you get. But again, it's not like, when I say it's good for a beginner, don't think like, oh, hey, I'm a real advanced rider, or I ride an Africa Twin. I don't need something like that. This is just a different experience. Now, talking about the Royal Enfield Himalayan being a different experience, one thing you're probably questioning, one thing you've read about everywhere online is the engine. It's not powerful enough. What do we got, like 411 cc's? We got 5 speeds, top speed of right around 70, but comfortable around 65, I would say. Is this bike too underpowered? And I honestly have to disagree with that, right? Number one, you know what you're buying, right? It's a single cylinder bike. You kind of know that whenever you're buying a dual sport, what are you getting into? You got 5 speeds right here. I truly believe this engine has enough giddy up and go. I've taken on highways, I've ridden at 65 at steady speeds, I've gotten a bike up to 75, but again, you're comfortable around pretty much that 65 to 70. Now, I did put a Delcovic exhaust on here, not just for weight reduction, but again, just to give it a little bit of body. The stock exhaust is fine, but this just gives it a little bit of life, and it's just a little bit more fun, not needed. The other thing you're probably questioning about this engine is the valve adjustment. And talking about that valve adjustment, that was probably the one thing that scared me about this bike. I'm not, you know, an advanced mechanic. I change my tires on my bike and my oil and do all my mods myself and everything, so I know a little bit. But when you're talking about popping over your engine, adjusting the valves, I was like, yikes. And it steered me away from this bike once before. I said, okay, I'm not gonna mess with that. That's too intimidating. I don't wanna deal with the cost. My closest dealer is another state over. I just didn't wanna mess with it. But believe it or not, I bought the tools for it, watched a few videos, dove into it, and holy smokes, it is so incredibly easy. Easier than changing tires. It's about a job like changing your oil. Now you got to pop off the gas tank. That might be the most time consuming thing, but if you order the right tools and everything, make sure you do the adjustments right. I mean, it's super easy. Again, coming from someone that's not a mechanic, do not let that steer you away, because it's just, I mean, it's incredibly easy. In my honest opinion, I think that's just Royal Enfield covering their backs, because they give you the 3-year warranty on this bike, I believe it is, or is it 2-year on the Himalayan? One or the other, but I think that's what they're doing right there. They're just like, okay, cover all these bases, check all this stuff here, because that's going to cover our bases for not having to do warranty claims, you know what I mean? When other bikes are upwards, you know, the mileage is much higher than doing this every 3,000 miles. So again, do not let that be anything to steer you away from the Royal Enfield Himalayan. All right, so we covered a lot of questions, concerns, and some of the things we read about on the Royal Enfield Himalayan that would steer a lot of us away. So let's talk about what I don't like about the bike. And you know, I don't script my videos. I'm just sitting here right off the top of my head, right? And when I think about it, there's really nothing I don't like about this bike. Okay, there's one thing. The windshield. I feel like this windshield is absolutely pointless. You can see how small it is. You really don't get any wind blockage. Holy smokes, that sun. You don't get much wind blockage from it. And I've been trying to find a windshield, and I've only found like one site that has them, but the stock windshield is garbage right there. Everything else I love. It is a blast to ride. It's easy. It's manageable. On-road, off-road, whatever, you know what I mean? I truly love this bike. And you might be asking, well, that's weird coming from an Africa Twin owner, right? You just watched my Africa Twin review. I love it. You're talking two completely different bikes here. And that's what I love about this. It's a completely different experience. Riding it, heck, just the aesthetics of it. My Africa Twin is a beast. It has all the tech. It has every bell and whistle you could need. It could take you anywhere. This one is going to put you on back roads, and I love that. I mean, heck, even with my Twin, I take back roads the majority of the time anyways, right? But this is just going to put you on those back roads. If you're scared of off-roading, or you are a little intimidating off-roading or something, this is going to take that away and let you just really grow into it, you know? And that's a really good point, talking about growing into it here. Again, with me having an Africa Twin, I love this bike. Me previously owning a DR650 or the 300L and so on and so forth, I would take this bike over any of them. I really would. And what I want you to do, if you're questioning it, right? The 300L's got all the hype. The DR650's a dual sport king, a lot of say, you know, minus a stinking carb. Go to a store, swing a leg over the 300L, just look at it or whatever, which I just recently did this past weekend. And I was like, holy smokes, this bike's intimidating. And then go to a Royal Enfield dealer, if you got one around you, and swing a leg over that, and you're gonna be like, wow, I totally see what he's talking about now. And that is what the Royal Enfield is. It's an underdog dual sport that I would recommend high and low over so many other dual sport bikes. But I'm gonna sell it. Hold up, what the heck just took place? We just raved about the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Talked so many good things about it. Why you should buy one. Why it beats out so many other bikes. And now I'm saying I'm gonna sell it. Yep. It's actually listed for sale. I have someone coming tomorrow to take a look at it, actually. Okay, I know. This makes no sense whatsoever. And like I said at the beginning, it's gonna leave you scratching your head like, what the heck is going on here? I was just sold. I'm over here driving to the dealer to go pick one up and check one out, you know what I mean? So why am I selling this bike when I love it so stinking much? Well, I always catch myself saying, man, I wish I would have taken my Africa Twin a lot. And why is that? Again, you all know the Africa Twin is my dream bike. It's not the power. I would say when I'm on longer trips, it is some of the creature comforts, right? It is a little more comfortable. I got all that power where I can pretty much go wherever I want and feel confident on a highway. I mean, I love taking the back roads. So don't think it's the power. As I stated before, it's not the power that's steering me away. I think the number one thing is I love adventure riding. I love going to hit trails. I love exploring. I love taking a right turn down that road that most people won't turn down. And I will take my Africa Twin down just about any of those roads. As intimidating as can be sometimes, I will take it down that road. And again, if I want to go real far, bam, I turn it there. I don't want to ever be like anything holding me back. Not saying this is holding me back. I'm stumbling over my words right here, you know what I mean? At the core of it, I don't feel like I need two ADV bikes. Maybe that will be the better way to put it. And that's what I'm looking at getting once I get rid of this. I'm gonna go back, because I had one before, I never made videos about it. I'm gonna go back and get a Rebel 1100 DCT. I absolutely love DCT. I love that engine. I feel I can go anywhere on it and just ride for days. But I want a different riding experience, right? I love ADV riding. That's where my heart is. It's dirt all day long, and I'll take that. If I can keep one bike all day long, it's the Africa Twin. I'm still keeping the Africa Twin. That's not going anywhere, right? But I feel like a cruiser will give me a different experience, a different ride, getting out on the road. You're saying, well, man, why don't you just keep all three of them? This bike's not expensive, $5,500, something like that, you know, give or take after your fees and tax, a little bit more. So why not just keep it? I'm the type of person that if I got stuff just sitting around, not getting utilized to the point it should be, I'm just like, why don't I get rid of it? You know what I mean? Which might be a ridiculous way to look at it, especially since I like it so much, but I don't like stuff sitting there collecting dust when I could just sell it and have the money and go to something else that I would use a little bit more, if that makes sense. I'd love to keep it in the garage. I would. I got it built out, looks absolutely beautiful. There's really nothing else I'd want to do to this bike, right? I built it out and now I'm selling it, kind of like I did with the NC750. But again, I just want that different riding experience. I got my top tier adventure bike. That cruiser will just, again, it would be fun to ride along the beach. You just go for just a ride here and there. And that's why I'm getting rid of it. I love the bike. I highly recommend the bike. If I was stacked and loaded, I would keep all three of them. But again, I don't like stuff going to waste. So that's the reason I'm selling my Royal Enfield Himalayan. I love the bike. Highly recommend it. I would even class it as the best dual sport bike. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you scratching your head right now like, what the heck just took place right here? Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. And if you've ever ridden one, give me your feedback. I want to hear what you think about the Royal Enfield Himalayan as well. So thank you guys so much for coming along for this adventure. Heck, just like the title says, or the channel name is, Adventure Undone, because we're never done. We always got something spicy going on here. So make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and I hope to catch you in the next adventure. Bye now.